Okay, so after yesterday's video, I got a lot of feedback from the team, and many especially asking, what if you need a hard edge? What if you need something a little bit soft and a little bit hard, all at the same time? So there's a variety of tools that can do it for you. You can crease edges, you can insert edges, etc. I'm going to use this leaf, which was the only thing that was a poly surface yesterday, to examine how we can produce something like that from a SubD. So maybe not the most efficient way to do it. The most efficient way was the way I've already done it, but let's examine producing that as a SubD. So same as usual, same way we did yesterday. We're going to start with an arc. Alright, you know what, I'm going to start from a pure SubD. I'm going to go to my SubD tools, I'm going to look at my primitives, and I'm going to pull out a SubD sphere. I'm going to make sure I'm holding shift to lock it orthogonally. Alright, so I think that'll probably get me where I want to be. So I'm going to grab this guy, I'm going to put a mirror modifier on it because I want to work only on one edge at a time and I want it to mirror to the other side. So I'm going to look for there's my mirror modifier, select the SubD, this one, and where's the start of my reflection plane? It's going to be from here to there. Right. And press enter, and now you can see that the SubD has one sort of dark area and one sort of light area. Right, so the whole SubD needs to scale smaller like that. I think it has to scale a bit like that to kind of get this shape over here, and then we start hardening up a few things. Alright, so I'm going to work in this view, so we're after a sharp edge over there, and a sharp edge over there, and definitely this edge is kind of sharp where the leaf is. You know what, we're designers, we're just going to pick up and fly. Alright, so the first edge I have to get sharp is this one here. So I'm going to grab edge mode, U and U. And I'm going to crease that edge. Okay. We're going to look at the vertex points. I'm going to go to for a second. I'm going to go to vertex mode over here, and I'm going to grab the vertexes for there. So the vertex is that little join area. I'm not in vertex mode. Oopsie, not bad. I'm going to grab that little vertex, the point where they all match up over there, and the point where they all match up over there. Easier to do this in there, so we've got them both. Bring it out, something like that. And so now we're kind of getting that marquee shape we were after. And we need to harden up the top surface. So these four over here, they need to harden up. So oopsie, let's go back to edge mode. So oopsie, yay. Neil really haven't made the selection much easier, have they? Alright, so let's crease those as well. Okay, so now we kind of get into where we need it to be. We need to crease the bottom half as well. Now, you know what, let's say that this was a leaf and the top was hard and the bottom stayed soft. Here would be an example of where you wouldn't crease the bottom. You'd leave the bottom kind of like a boat shape if you wanted to. So let's do that for now. I'm going to uncrease this edge here. So I'm going to grab that edge, I'm going to uncrease it. So the opposite of creasing, I'm going to uncrease it. Alright, and that does mean this edge we have to poke out a little bit. Edge, it's not the edge, the vertex. I'm going to pull it out like yay. Okay, and then you start to see the fun of creasing stuff. So I don't think that the SubD has a relax. Yeah, SubD in Rhino doesn't have a relax mode to relax that to a straight line. Anyway, so let's go Control Z and go back to the way we were doing it. And we're going to match the creasing that we did up at the top. So we go back to there, so we grab U and U. And I guess I could have mirrored this over both axes at the same time. But anyway, we are where we are, so let's crease that. Alright, so now we kind of, where we want to be. Alright, I'm going to hide all these things. I'm going to turn my filter because it's not getting away a little bit. Filter off, select all of this. Okay, so I'm having a really bad Rhino day, so take all of this, change object layer, turn the damn layer off. Thank you. Alright. So over here we want to straighten up these things. The easiest way to do that is go to verts mode and then zoom in and kind of scale them towards each other. Right, get a nice flat surface. Right. Flat enough. Alright. We need to do the same thing on the bottom. might come in, you know what, I'm going to just work and construct the top for now, split the bottom off later, mirror it and join it. Okay, so we've got the edge that we want, we kind of got the bowl on the side we want. I want to grab the vertex mode, I want to pull this out a little bit. Okay. And then this edge over here we want to pull down from its vertex, so I'm going to grab a little vertex over there, like that, and we're going to pull this guy down, and we get that nice bow that we were after over there. Alright, so that gives us the leaf we needed made from SubD. I'm going to delete all the faces on the bottom here. I'm going to grab all these faces, I'm going to mirror them over there to there, and I'm going to join them. So I join them using the points over there, the edges over there, and weld, I don't think it's called weld in the SubD, it's got a different name, subdivide stitch, it's called. Probably some issue with, that went particularly poorly for me, so let's go Control Z and let's just grab these edges like that, and then let's weld them, stitch them, and let's grab these ones on this side and stitch them. Didn't work. So you guys, I'm stitched. Okay, so those increased, let's increase them. Okay, so that's not going to work. Alright, so it's determined to give me a hard time today. I will ask the questions in the right forums to find out why one half of it works and the other half doesn't. Anyways, let's grab all that. That's interesting that when you do the mirror, it's kind of warping the component. Anyway, we'll do that like that. Alright. Ooh, and it's all good. It's like really messing with Rhino. Alright, let's try again. Grab the whole thing, let's turn selection filters off. Alright, let's grab the whole thing, let's mirror it over itself. Let's mirror it over itself to here. Is that better? I really didn't like that, did it? Alright, I'm going to go to verts mode. I'm going to add and weld sets of verts at a time and see if that works for me. Stitch, 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 they call it, not weld. Please let me, I'll just call it weld, the same as everyone else. Okay, so stitch. Okay, then we're going to stitch those two. And stitch those two. Okay, we're all stitched up now.
Good morning.
And we're going to stitch these two. Good morning. You're in early.
Yes.
Alright, then we're going to stitch the last two. Alright, so then we need to only uncrease over here, and then the final part of this tutorial is done. You built the entire leaf from a SubD. So now you can bring that leaf out. So let's work with just this edge over here at the moment, just that vertex over there. Let's pull it in. I would like to uncrease these two, assuming they're not already creased. Let's grab that. And then uncrease them. There we go. And I'm going to show you the other way that instead of having a very hard crease here, you can insert another edge to give you sharp but not too sharp. Alright, so here we want very sharp, it's the top of the leaf. Here we want sharp but not too sharp. So we're going to grab that edge. You can double click to select the whole edge ring, or you can select with the shift key to grab a few of them together. You can then insert an edge. See the little guy over there? You can insert a SubD edge over there. I'm going to look in my top view. I'm going to bring one like right here in, and it's snapping on everything. I'll hold my Alt key and bring one in there. And then grab it again. See, grab that again, that again, and that again, and run the same command on the other side of it, something like that. There. Okay, so now you can see I've brought in, by adding in more edges, I brought this in sharp without being too sharp. With me, so it's a little bit more organic. Alright, so now you do the same as yesterday. You just do an orient and you bring these components over, remembering that you can now play with it in your top view, get your shape exactly right. You've got, let me see if I grab this now. Can I mirror over both ends at once? Can I do that? Let's have a quick look. Let's see how. And a second reflection plane. Yes, we can. Apparently. Ooh, cool. So anything you do on just this one quadrant will now reflect across all of them. Okay, so inside there, I should have done that first, right? And so now you can make the shape exactly the way you want. So you want to make your leaf a little bit fatter or bulkier out there. I kind of like that leaf look going on there. Right? Let's have a look in the top view. I feel like it's kind of wobbly at the moment. Feels like it looks like kind of weird there, so I might grab that vert there, and I might just pull it up a little bit and out a little bit to give us a nice boat shape. Alright, so, and that vert looks like it needs to go out just a little bit like that. There we go. Alright, so now I'm happy with that. We can just copy it out. So if we wanted this to be pure SubD, the last part we would do is, I wonder why the top and the bottom are not the same. Can I add a third plane? So I've got X, got Y. Let's try that. I get it. It's fun. Let's experiment. So let's turn that off. Let's grab the sky and let's add a third. Go on, Rhino. Really? You're going to let me do another one? There to there. Enter. Nah, that took away the first two. Well, it was a good go. And it did this weird thing where it's kind of joined those two faces together. Right, so I'm going to go Control Z. Was hoping for a bit much, I guess. Would have been good to be able to do it as a full quadrant. I guess what I could have done is just work on the top and used a regular mirror to the bottom with history. Alright, so I'm going to have to try to copy what I've done on the top together at the back there. So I'm going to go to verts mode. Vert. Where are we? There we go. And we'll grab that vert. Move it kind of out and kind of down. Maybe a little bit in the bottom. That. Alright, so okay, I'm good with that. Alright, so let's play with that guy. Ooh, and we forgot to move that vert out a little bit like yay. Alright. I'm going to switch off my filtering like so. I'm going to delete all these polysurfs. Okay, so this we made a surface yesterday, so if you want this, you're going to see that it is a surface. Because I just did a pipe, you can also convert it to SubD. You can just go to SubD, okay, and it's now SubD, meaning you can play with it if you needed to. For the leaf component itself, I think that what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to grab it from its middle vertexes through here. So we're going to grab the whole item. We're going to run the orient command. In orient, make sure that you type copy yes and you click scale yes. Okay, the scale is going to be in 3 dimensions. Remember, your reference point has to travel through the center of the component, so you're going to find a vertex near the middle. One there will work for me, and you're going to find another vertex around the other side of the middle, like that. Okay. Then in your top view, you're going to start laying out your leaf area. So yesterday we kind of copied over an image. Today we're not going to do that. I'm holding down the Alt key so I don't snap onto anything. I don't want to be snapping up any of these vertex, changing my height. I'm going to kind of drag out from the end of the branch towards the actual component here, so I'm not entirely sure why that's going low. Let's have a look. Because we started out low. Alright, so I'm going to stop there. Okay, so because I moved this up above the ground plane before, we're now no longer on the ground plane, so this needs to also move up before we orient. So I'm going to move it kind of up there. What kind of thickness you want the leaf? I guess a little bit. You want to stick in past the branches for sure, so I'm going to make it a little bigger like that. And then we start the command again, right? Measure twice, cut once, guys. So we're going to orient this. Again, you need to pick a vertex point, so just type it right. It really helps if you can spell when you've got to use a program that requires you to type commands, right? So I'm going to do that. I'm going to do this. Alright, and then in the top view, I'm going to start the layout. So yesterday we kind of copied the image like I said, but we're not going to do that today. We're going to just do something that makes a bit more sense. So you can see over here, why am I still low? Goodness me. That's weird. Alright, we'll move more like when we're done. Alright, so I think SubD is fairly new, and you can tell from this kind of tutorial we've been doing that it can be a little strange sometimes. So we're going to go to viewport to make sure we can see what we're doing. I'm going to go out there, put another one there. So what we're trying to do is trying to get as many of them as we can to kind of be touching the touching the border area in the same by the same amount. And remembering there's technical drawing, and then there is drawing for design. So whatever you're making also has to be aesthetically pleasing, besides the fact that it has to be manufacturable. All right. So that goes out to the CAM team and to the design team. You know, making something that's the right millimeters thick, and you know, technically it works, but it's ugly. Customer's not going to buy it, so it doesn't matter what, you know, how technically correct you made it. It's got to look, it has to look pleasing. Right? So try to get it all even, or as even as you can. And I think that for the designers that are used to surface modeling, you don't know that you're going to enjoy this workflow of SubD, because it's a little analog. It doesn't have the precision that the other methods have. But this will increase your workflow a lot. I mean, you can see how quickly this whole thing was made in like 20 minutes, 25 minutes, I think, something like that. Which by any other workflow would be a disaster to try to draw. Okay, so we've got the leaves up there, we're good. I might draw just a little baby leaf here and there. Just to fill in some of these gaps we've got on the top. Okay, so we press enter to complete the command. I'm entirely unsure why it didn't move them up over there, but for now we can leave this go, we no longer need it. We'll grab all these guys, move them up to the center like that, and put them on the layer for the leaves. Alright guys, so now the entire thing is a SubD. So yesterday we made the hard surfaces from poly surfaces. Today I've shown you how to draw a hard surface or hard corner with a subdivision. If we look inside the corner over there, when we need it hard but not too hard, you can insert an edge. So all those commands along the top over here. The final thing is to work with the pre-made solids. So we produced this thing from a sphere, from a quad sphere. So in the top yesterday when we drew this, I used a regular torus, but you have SubD toruses. So if you really want all of this to be SubD, you can grab a SubD torus over there, then pull it out, bring it to a beak or something like that, and then give it some thickness, and then you've got a subdivision torus inside there instead of a regular torus inside there. There are some advantages, I guess. You can pull your components, move it around, and the same deal. Yesterday I had to use a stretch to produce the veil. Here you can just use a SubD again, so we can Control C, Control V, pull this SubD out, give it a rotation in this view. And then you can use the edges, verts, or faces to produce the top of the veil. So if we come in here, we bring it out, you can see that over here you can grab, if you've got an edge mode like this, and you grab all these edges, you can just pull them out like a veil. So exactly the same way you would do a veil. Grab that, pull it out a bit more. Let's grab all these, pull it out a bit more. Something like that. Grab those, bring them in a little bit, so they fit inside the veil, and find this part, just stretch the veil out a little bit like that. Grab the whole lot, bring it down, and then entire SubD produced part. Right, so you grab this guy. So there are advantages, there's disadvantages. Try not to get too hung up on what specific tool, you know, if you started drawing a SubD, doesn't mean you have to finish drawing a SubD. There's no right tool, there's no wrong tool. There's just getting the part finished as fast as you can. Not as fast as you can, as nicely as you can, but also remember that time is money. Right? So pick the fastest tool that gets you the best result. Okay, so there's that same component as yesterday, the entire thing produced in SubD today instead of just partially produced in SubD. Okay guys, cheers, I'll upload that.